Last we left our heroes, after a harrowing near-death experience with the Cult of Nazul, you found some much-needed rest and awoke renewed and powerful. Having purged the evil from the grotto, the Myconid set about rejuvenating their colony here and began escorting you through secretive mycelium tunnels to the edge of the Ryme Sphere. After some heartfelt farewells, you entered into this domain of snow, ice, and crystal in search of a dragon's lair. Somewhere within this icy domain, the crystal dragon Clandestryx has built her home, and you've been tasked with parlaying with her and retrieving a commissioned divining rod to complete the divining network for your patron. Your first foray into this domain led to a number of notable finds. Firstly, a cavern suitable for keeping out the cold and to rest. Secondly, Augustus spied the signs of an inverted castle or spires of crystal and ice that descend from the cavern roof high above. Finally, you discovered and fought denizens of this realm. Crystalline sentries that became animated and attacked, and the snow itself rose, and two came turn you back from this realm. The battle was tough fought for each of you, but in the end, with the aid of elemental magic, you came out on top. After a long day of travel, a lot of energy spent, you decided to rest and to seek out Clandestryx in the morning. And after that rest, you awaken, and we begin today. It was a cold rest through this evening, but DeCrane has maintained watch. Nothing has come, nothing has gone, and despite the cold, you awaken fully rested, fully healed, ready to
long
take
rest.
Yep, long
Sick.
rest. Yeah, with the aid of finding the cave to hunker down in, and with the your cold weather gear, the cold did not actually penetrate so deeply that it would have disturbed your rest. You awaken and have the day. What do you do?
Okay, so if I was a gem dragon, I'd probably be in that like castle above. Don't you guys think that's worth trying to check out?
I mean, it's the like obvious. It's big. She's probably big, and she probably made it. Did she make this whole realm?
Well, she makes the rods, so maybe she's really good at making stuff.
It's interesting.
It'll definitely be a big structure. Probably at a height.
How are we gonna get up that high? It was
climb.
climb.
Well, I mean, we have a little bit of climbing gear, but not a great climber. I don't know about you guys.
When I changed into that like beast that climbed a tower, I was pretty good at that. So I could, we could put a rope around me and I could try and lead us up. Nettie's pretty good at climbing too. She's feeling quiet this morning, I can tell, but I'm sure she'll perk up soon.
You hear her still snoring as the day continues on.
Listener, Nettie will be maybe late to this party if you can't see them already. But we'll let you know when they show up. When we were out there, like, do you think we attracted attention? Maybe we should be careful, like, snooping around if those things can just, like, teleport through crystals or whatever.
Maybe they can teleport us.
That's true.
Well, but they kind of didn't seem like they wanted to be friends, though. And, like, they kind of attacked us immediately.
Yeah.
She also doesn't know that we're coming, so that doesn't help.
I did tell one of them, hey, we just want to meet Clandestryx. And then he threw snow in my face.
Yeah, he was like, you say that like he like, oh, but it was just like...
No, it was like, smashed me
bad.
right
Yeah.
in my orbital bone.
Yeah.
Can I poke my head out of the cave, maybe while we're talking here, and just take a little peek up at that castle in the sky, that structure that's like upside down?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Spells.
Can I tell you two things I could be looking for?
Sure.
Like a double-sided? One, any movement, anything like that. But two, hadn't even considered Kev's idea of, could you climb? Like, is it near enough like a side of a wall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really good. 22.
With
no negatives, no disadvantage or anything. Just checking. I think I'm good.
Nope.
Okay, great.
No, you're in the clear. It is difficult to spy through because it is, as I stated before, like 500 feet. Like it is very high up in the cavern roof, essentially, what is like the sky here. But it hangs low and long, and it does like kind of peek out and point at multiple different points of spires in this inverted castle. You can see it does have the mark of not being naturally formed. It's clearly been created. With a 22, it's still difficult to make out through the auroras, through the snow that is continuously kind of blowing and swirling. But given that you've already seen it before, know what to look for, it does kind of stand out against the otherwise darkened rock. To your first or second point, it stands alone in the middle of the ceiling, kind of descending. It's not necessarily directly near a wall. It doesn't seem to be any obvious at this distance sign of passage from here up.
Just so everyone's aware, I got no flying creatures that I can do. Can't do that till much later.
I'll also say it's not like directly up. It's still like a ways travel to be kind of underneath it. Still a ways travel in whatever direction that is.
That is
underworld.
I mean, someone else had to collect these other ones from her, right? Maybe there's like a staircase.
We definitely need to get closer. We can't make guesses from here.
That's a good idea. We should just start maybe stealthily trying to walk towards it, get a little closer.
I mean, stealth is always... I'm usually one for trying to be quiet, but I mean, I feel like if we are trying to look like we're being suspicious and like trying to sneak up on a dragon, then it might be bad.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's just to try to avoid the snow things.
So
know,
a little
get by you.
quiet, but not too quiet.
Like not making a ruckus, but not like suspicious.
Got it.
Quiet. Yeah.
More like me, less like Nettie.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. That's a good one.
So
Okay, let's
to
go.
that point, as you guys begin to set out, we're going to continue doing a skill challenge in the efforts to find your way there. You've already technically found the destination, but the passage to that destination is now your new kind of what you're searching for. The element here of using stealth means that you can use stealth. You can move slowly, but each check will become an hour's worth of time. Each of these checks will be an hour of your travel as you're moving now much slower across this space. But it does mean that you could use stealth, which could, in theory, if you were to come into an encounter, you could get the upper hand if you have a decent stealth across your team. So, with that being said, you are electing to travel stealthily.
Hell yeah.
First things first, everyone let's just roll stealth out of the gate. And then we'll start with whoever is going to roll first on our skill check or skill challenge. I'll roll for Enid.
Perfect. 14 for me.
My stealth is better now. Also a 14.
What did you get, Kev?
I rolled a 14 and stealth, right?
Yeah.
Stealth, yep.
Yeah, so 6, so 20.
Oof,
20
nice.
for you, 20 for Enid.
And then 14 for the two of
And
us.
14, yeah.
Pretty decent scores across the board as you guys begin to make your way. Oh, and I'll click long rest for this one.
I can see Enid's rolls now. Thanks, D&D Beyond. So good.
Oh, nice.
I think it's because
Did
Kyle's the
you-
one rolling.
Who knows?
I don't know, but it worked. Anyways, you guys begin to travel stealthily. At least you feel very stealthy. You bundle back up under your cold weather gear with maybe Enid and Decrane taking a little bit more of the point as you guys begin to travel out of your humble little cave. And how would you like to begin the skill challenge?
I think I did a perception as the last one. So maybe, what do you guys think? Like, I've already done perception, right, Kyle?
Technically, this is a new skill challenge. However, you'd have to change what you're trying to perceive.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you guys got? Let me look at my stuff.
I'd
I
also
have an idea, but I think we need to get slightly closer. And also, we like got certain. If we could try to retrace our steps. Remember how you were making little like snowmen to like get us back to where we were the end of last game.
Mm-hmm.
So we could like start with trying to find that route.
Yeah, I'm good at survival, so I could do, for the first hour, it could just be trying to find our way there, trying to find the safest or best way there through the snow.
Like our last, like, work, our own footsteps and...
Oh, we do that.
I also just want to add, just as always, two skill challenges. It doesn't have to necessarily just be the skill table. Mm-hmm. Feel free to use abilities. Feel free to use, and then either we can just use the ability, and I can figure out how to make a skill out of it, or we'll just finagle and make something work. But feel free to always kind of just throw shit out and just see, can I try this? Can I do that? Even if you don't have a skill involved, just I want to try this. Let me try and help you find the skill that would make sense. Well, but survival to try and retrace your steps, because you knew you were on the right path. You had had one success already, so if you can hit this survival at the DCs, Augustus, go ahead and roll that. You'll retrace those steps, because it wasn't terribly far from where you ended up camping.
Not my best roll. 13. 6 on the dice plus 7. Not my worst roll.
You guys set out stealthy, which is slow. And that speed, you notice, is beginning to kind of change. The terrain here, the slower you're moving, it almost has an odd kind of quicksand feature. As the slower you move, you're kind of traveling through the snow, and it just kind of grabs and holds on to you a little bit. Each step, you just sink a little bit into the fresh powder that seems to be falling and forming here. First of all, notably, you don't see your tracks from the day before. You don't see any sign of your trudging to and from the day before, which is odd that there's not that much extra snow, and yet it seems to have been, the landscape seems to have shifted in some manner through this kind of consistent flow of magically altered cold snow ice. As the hour progresses, you feel like you should have reached the point. You're feeling like it wasn't this long with Augustus out point. You don't see tracks, so now you're just trying to go off raw intuition, trying to see through the kind of vague, blurry, blustering snow and wind, hoping to see shapes that, like, oh, that looks like my snowman. But the closer you get, it's just a crystal that has grown, or just a mound of snow, but not your mound of snow. And the hour that you traverse here, as you're looking forward, trying to peer through the blizzard that is kind of perpetually around, you watch as wisps of the aurora from above begin to kind of now fall to this level. And you're now kind of traveling through the flowing aurora as it flows past you, each kind of kicking up hair and swirling and like stopping and magically kind of swirling around you before continuing past in a wave of color. It is pretty beautiful. Like, it's kind of amazing, and it feels kind of airy. You feel ever so slightly lighter and carried up out of like your stiff, kind of skulking, stealthy, into this kind of bubbly, errant, floating sensation. And I'd like each of you to roll percentile dice for me.
Oh my. Okay. This is fun.
I do that thing when you're like sticking your arm out a car window and you go like this.
But with the aurora?
Yeah.
You watch as it flows through your hand, it flows over and under and swirls all around in a kind of ribbony effect.
Cool.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
33.
39. Enid got a crazy one. Kev, what did you get? Two D10s,
right?
basically.
2D10s,
Yeah.
essentially.
2d10s, yeah.
18.
18, yeah. That roll didn't like come up for me from Enid, but 96.
96, yeah.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Okay, sorry. So let's start just like going around the circle. So Scott, what'd you roll?
I rolled 39.
39. You watch as Augustus is kind of out point on your group as a kind of spiraling of 3 or 4 different colors begins kind of like this corkscrew into you, and like, you know, you're not actively like worried or moving, and it strikes you right in the chest, and you guys from behind watch as 4 Augustuses kind of kick out in this like astral projection before he like lands back on his feet, and there are now 3 shifting illusory versions of Augustus mirroring his every move.
I hate magic.
Whoa,
Oh, hey, I can do that. That's cool.
that guy's really handsome.
You move your hand and
Wrong campaign.
follow suit.
I know, it's like, it's too Valentine.
As you are experiencing this interesting shift. DeCrane, what did you roll?
18.
18. You disappear. Andy, what did you roll?
Oh, no.
33.
Where'd he go?
DeCrane, you kind of feel this energy kind of come across you. And as you turn to like look, suddenly the entire landscape shifts. Everything becomes dull and muted. The cold dissipates entirely. You feel light and airy and not tethered to anything. But everyone around you also suddenly appears ghostly and translucent, transparent. You look to your own self and you seem whole in this other space. And a minute passes, less than a minute, I should say, before
The crane.
you pop back into the space a foot away from where you were. But you feel you have that ability of magic kind of now just kind of flowing around you to blink in and out of where you are.
Where did you go?
Blink's a dope spell. Blink's a very good spell.
I was taken somewhere. All I can say it was not here. It was warm,
Oh, that sounds pretty nice.
but something wasn't right.
Sounds very menacing.
Yeah, magic sounds really fun. You're making it sound like really serious.
It's a sign of weakness.
Oh no. What about Ned?
You know how like magic is my entire thing, right? Like that's all I can do.
Kev, go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Yours is like god magic.
I'm not saying it's a sign of weakness for everyone, to be
Okay.
clear.
Okay,
You did okay.
just most people.
And it's a 20.
Ooh.
Permanent spell forever. Congratulations.
I think it's just blink.
It's just blink. So you've vanished.
Again? Oh
Yep.
man, where'd he go? He was just.
we go.
Do you see him? He was just here. I'm pointing at my other duplicates. Where did you see him? We're doing the Spider-Man meme. What? You? Did you?
Sorry,
Man.
Andy, what did you roll again?
33.
33, that's right. Okay, so after a little bit of discussion with Allie not being able to yet join us, and the roll that I rolled for Allie being kind of interesting and not really making sense to play out later, we're going to shift the roles from Andy and Enid, simply because Andy is here with us. And a 96 gives an interesting opportunity. And it is very fitting for Andy's character for this strange vision to happen. You watch as Augustus is Spider-Man memeing with himself. DeCrane is just gone, but you feel confident that he's not gone forever. You watch Enid also begin to blossom with similar mirroring images, and now the 6, 7, 8 bunnies are
There's
just
too many bunnies.
frolicking before you, and you watch a single spiraling starlight within the aurora crest and a light on your forehead, right in that third eye, and the entire world just into a white flash and flare. Andy, you see just a flurry of images. I want you just to roll an intelligence saving throw for me.
Natural 19.
Great.
So that is a. Where's my saves?
Show me 25. Show me 25.
It is 25.
Mm.
You are both mechanically equipped, but also like spiritually equipped to receive visions and to experience things from beyond, and try to interpret them as best you can. But really, you're able to set yourself aside from the like shock and awe of it to really focus and like hone the images deeply into your mind in an instant. And with a 25, you will get every element of this vision that could possibly be presented to you and like etched into your mind. The first image comes across. You see a knight in green resplendent armor. He is semi-ethereal in nature, standing in a dark tower. He turns and begins to speak to this figure, but there's no sound. It's kind of muffled. And you watch this secondary knight-looking figure turn with a cape that swishes and swirls, kicking up like a cloud of dust. And you see this just large figure, 4 arms descend out from beneath the cape. You see a kind of a white helm with 2 plumes that rise back, almost antenna-like, 4 insectoid arms that kind of come in each steeple before, as they're engaging in this conversation, and 2 insectoid legs. Both these figures tall, imposing, engaging in some conversation in this dark tower. The second image, the tower, an exterior of a tower, is dark, canted across an Arctic landscape. From the apex of the tower, a swirling plume of energy erupts, and your eyes are lost to you once more. A new image replaced. You watch an abstract image play out before you. You see an egg, and it cracks inward of its own volition. It crumbles, and in hyper fast time lapse, it crumbles and corrodes. And at its core, you see a pearl of jet black. It is not reflective. It is that Vanta black of consuming light. The vision pulls you within, and it is empty. It is cold. It is hungry. You feel the vision kind of rocket you through the darkness, but you can feel the speed picking up, and you begin to see again the same images of the vision that you've had before. You see the battlefield play out. You see the colors pouring into the well of darkness. You see this house burning with black flame in a field of stars. You see the arrow flying through as a comet. You follow the arrow for a moment, and you watch where it strikes. It strikes at a golden heart. It's difficult to make out finer detail, but where it strikes, chaos ensues. The last image you see, that same destroyed landscape you saw at the end of your most recent vision. The earth shattered, pieces of rock floating amongst starlight. Nothing to tether them. Barren rock. And where you saw those 2 figures previously, you glance over, and the 2 figures are there for a minute, then they become one, then they split into 6, 7, 8, and they become one again in this kind of rippling back and forward, back and forth. And this is from afar, and as you focus now, 25 intelligence. They appear directly before you. A carbon copy of yourself, blackened eyes, cracked skin, as if you were a porcelain doll, but black ink runs between the veins. Black runs from the mouth as you open your mouth. And instead of speaking any words, just your jaw opens like a snake and unhinges and consumes you whole. You come back to Spider-Man pointing rabbits. The crane pops back in.
Do you see him? Oh,
the plan
there he is. The crane, where'd you go? Where'd you go?
After this second roll, Crane, you now have control of your blink spell. If you wish to blink in and out, you are free to do so. But you have to roll a d20. You can do it once per round for the next hour. You have to roll a d20 to 11 or higher. You blink out.
I have a question. So, is this like I would use this like once a day, once a round? Like, how does this work?
For the next hour, you can use it once a round to dip out of this plane into the ethereal plane and move as a ghost up to 30 feet.
Oh, it's just for the hour it lasts.
Yeah, okay. All of these effects will fade.
Oh, okay.
Annie, what happened to you? Enid got the cool duplicate versions. What happened to you?
Just give me a sec.
All four of us walk up to you. What do you mean? Are you okay? You don't look so good.
Yeah, I don't feel great. She's just gonna take a second to try to commit everything to memory as much as she can.
All four of us will be staring up at you. We're from 3 feet, just staring up at you.
How? It's really cold, right?
It's very cold. Like, yeah, it's very cold.
Okay. We'll just go like, okay. Shit. Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna start trying to take off some layers and try to check my tattoo.
Which one?
I think I've decided it's gonna be the one that like she always checks after visions. I think I decided it's gonna be like up her whole like left leg, like almost like a sleeve-ish above the knee, and then we'll see how if it ends up growing.
Is that the spooky new one that you got?
The spooky new one is over your navel.
Yes. I guess both.
Okay.
The one, yeah.
It's fully stripping, but
yeah, we were very confused. Ears go over eyes. I don't know if we should be.
Honestly, any bear does not have that much clothes on a regular basis anyway. It doesn't phase her.
Enid, what's happening?
You begin to disrobe and begin checking your tattoos. Notably, 2 of Andy's tattoos have shifted and moved. One of them seems brighter than the others. Seems to almost have like a little bit of flair to it. But as she begins to move and shift, easier to get first to the stomach, to your navel, for that most recent dark mark. It is grown. There's like a coronal ring of a secondary darkness that now surrounds the first.
Okay, well, that's not good.
Can I try an insight check? I'm going to peek from under one of my ears. Can I try an insight check her reaction to seeing that?
Sure. Insight versus however, Andy, you wish to play. If you want to try and hide any of your emotions, you feel roll deception. If you are being open about it, then you can roll or not roll and play how you want. Versus insight of
17. Actually, maybe more. 18? Let me look. 18.
My deception's actually good this campaign. But I rolled pretty bad. Yeah,
How bad?
like a 11.
Bad enough that you get the kind of immediate reaction.
Panic.
Yeah, doesn't look like a joy to see that. Okay, I don't say anything. I just kind of log out.
You continue down to the kind of center, the main tattoo, the Voyager's kind of journey. This is the one that's split 3 ways, correct? What I'll say, there's a point at the end of each of them. A new point is added, but no further progression. But it's almost like a new fixed element along each path.
Okay.
Has
Put my
yet to
clothes back
make
on because it's really fucking cold.
any further changes. You, put your clothes back on. You all feel the aurora kind of dissipate past you and replaced simply by cold wind and snow.
That was so cool. It was really fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I sometimes, not often, more frequently, lately, this is not a conversation for talking on the road, but like I kind of need to get it out or I can't. I've had visions. Actually, you know what? It's just been one vision. It hasn't been a lot of visions. It's been one for a while, it's 15-ish years. I guess it was the same for around 14 years in most of the months until very recently. And it's scary but you kind of get used to it because it's like the same thing every time. And then it's gotten worse. And that one was, I think, a lot worse. I don't think it's something that we have to deal with right now. Sorry, I'm talking out loud. I think better when I'm talking.
We've sat on the floor, all 4 of us. We're just watching you.
Okay. I think I have
Did you say 15 years?
Ish. I was like a teenager.
Are you possessed by something?
No. Oh, God's no. It's. I don't think so. No. If I was, then I probably would have known by now.
And it's always the same every time?
It was the same for a really long time. Yeah, it was the same thing. It was there's scary war stuff, and there's there's a house on fire. Well, no, the house on fire part's new. I'm getting it all mixed up now. It's a lot of symbolism. Well, it was basically the same for years, and then I didn't get it for a really long time, and that was both worrying and kind of nice. And then when Decrane and I kind of set off, I don't think I told you this, Decrane. When we set off, I almost went home because I missed everybody. Well, I've never been apart from the heading, and it was kind of like a quick leave. And then I kind of thought, you know what, I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and maybe I'll just go home. And then I had the vision, and there was one extra little part, and that was new.
What was the extra little part?
I don't remember what the end of the vision is in real life. I have to reread the document. Was
it seeing the figure, or
it was just a little? No, that was new. It was just everything was a little bit more clear, and I could remember it better. And that was new, and I thought, okay, maybe I'm doing the right thing. And then when we were in the town, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with Ursa, I got it again. That one was a little even more intense. And then it was my astrolabe was falling apart, and that was worrying. And then when we were talking to the mushy guys and to our little myconid friends, and then it got even more clear. And then there was some creepy figures, and the world was destroyed, and that was also terrifying. There's a house on fire with black flames. It's all symbolism. So here's the thing: visions are kind of bullshit, right? Like it doesn't give you like, hey, here's a view of exactly what's gonna happen in 17 days. I hope you're prepared. It's a lot of like your mind and your subconscious like trying to determine information that doesn't make sense for your mind to have. And the best way you can do that is like kind of like a dream. So like 18 people could be trying to be given the exact same amount of raw information, and everyone's brain's going to process it completely differently. Apparently this is how mine handles it. This is probably too much information for trying to walk and trying to go. So we gotta go see a dragon.
This is the most I've heard you talk all at the same time, and like the entirety of me knowing you.
Yeah, usually I just kind of talk about nothing. This is a lot of something. This is kind of the most something.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
All four of us raise a paw.
Okay.
Me or him?
Let's try all of you.
Okay. Why did you look so upset about your tattoo that you just saw?
Oh, yeah. So, some of my tattoos are tattoos like I got them done.
Okay.
Like this one, and like this
Nice.
one,
Cool.
and like that one. Some of them are like this one. No, it's not there right now. Oh, it's on this arm. This one, they just kind of like show up, which is kind of fun. It's like every day. It's like, oh, where'd it go today? And then when I do some specific kind of magic, they go away. Like I've used it, which is kind of cool. And then there's the one that was on my leg. That one I didn't get done. It also just kind of showed up, and it was the same for a really long time. And it's also started growing. Usually after I have these visions. And so I've just tried to and she'll pull up like a bottom hem. She'll like flip up a hem of her, one of her random clothes. I like also stitch it in here so I can like reference it if I ever need to. That part hasn't come up. I guess I haven't added to it in a while. But then the one on my stomach is new, and I didn't get that one, and it's not. The rest of them are like this white kind of color. And that one's really dark.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but it looks bad. That one's new, as in like when we were hanging out with our Mike and Ed friend. It's very new, and most of them these I've had for years. So I'm just not very good at processing new information when it comes to my own. I like fixing other people's problems.
So, do you think this is like Koros tattooing you through magic, or like?
I'm honestly not sure anymore. I thought it was for a really long time.
But then why would he tattoo a scary, spooky one on you?
Is
he a he, or is he a they, or a them?
I think it's mostly he.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not sure. I thought they were all kind of from Koros. But I don't have an answer.
Well, can I try something, Kyle? Can Ray and I go up to... Do you still have the spooky, scary one showing?
No, I got dressed, but I can... It's just layers. It's just moving shit out of the way.
We could try and heal it if you want, Ray and I.
You think it's like a curse or something?
I don't even know how curses work or what that would be, but sometimes if Ray and I try hard enough and our wills are kind of aligned, we can do certain things. So I just thought I'd...
Yeah. I appreciate it. Let's hold on to that option for a bit. I want to make sure... I don't know if it's bad, or I don't know if it's like some kind of warning that I need to be kept aware of. But regardless, let's not use that now. We might need it for something else. But maybe I'll take you up on that one day when we don't have as much going on.
If any of you guys have secrets that you're worried about, like, you can trust me, you can trust Nettie. We appreciate you sharing that. It's tough to, carry that all by yourself.
I'm not used to not having a really big group of people around me, so I appreciate that.
Now you have 8 extra bunnies in your life.
So many extra bunnies, yeah. I don't think that's gonna last, by the way. Like, it's very cool.
I'm
don't
pretty
get
sure this is permanent.
Don't get super attached to them, is what I'm saying.
It. So
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I had an idea when we got closer, by the way. But actually, maybe we should get closer and then I could try it. I was thinking about things Ray and I could try to get the dragon's attention. But maybe we'll get closer and then it'll be like a surprise.
Sure.
If you want, like, tell us next time you have vision. Maybe we can help you remember it. I can draw some of it in my book. It's mostly for birds and stuff, but just let me know.
Like, the newest thing, I'm not sure if the fact that it was by this source of magic that seems like, I don't know if it's Clandestryx or not. So the part that was new, like at the beginning, which normally the new stuff comes at the end. There was like a knight in green armor in a really dark tower talking to another knight, and that one was in like white, and he was definitely like insectoid-ish. And they were like, I couldn't tell if they were arguing or if they were just chatting. And then there's like the outside of that tower. And there's like a huge like of energy. And there was an egg that like, I don't know if it was like dragon egg. Oh, maybe that has something to do with what we're talking about. And it like imploded. And there's like a dark ball of energy. I guess it kind of looks like that. And then it kind of continued on to the rest of it. But normally the new stuff's not at the beginning. So I don't know if that new stuff has maybe that's new information and it just triggered everything else to come back again, because sometimes that's just triggered by raw energy or other stuff. But that stuff maybe it's important to what we're doing here. Maybe it's not. Does any of that ring any bell with your like dragon accord stuff in your book? Tower, dark tower, ball of energy, egg.
There's like this drawing in the dragon book.
Yeah, that's right. They're really great. I was wondering maybe they different colored knights represent.
Did the insect guy look like? Did he look like this?
It's close. Yeah, he had more arms. Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just starts trying. It's just as terrible as that looked like. Just a very crude.
Just a stick.
I think if you peeked at any bird drawing, it is really bad. It's like, okay. A question for you.
Keep moving though.
Question for you, DM. Because I can't honestly remember from when you were world building and telling us about options. Are there insect people in this world, or is that something completely alien and foreign to us to hear about?
Hard to answer properly.
Okay. Has Augustus ever seen an insect bug person before?
Go ahead and throw a history check with disadvantage.
Yep, love it.
What I will say is,
good.
That
was almost really good.
Decrane, you have had interactions with an insectoid race in your very recent past. But I don't want to get into too much of it if you're not going to volunteer anything.
I will definitely get into it, but I want to. What one thing is, like, this race, like they're in the area, kind of like I know where to find them, kind of thing.
You don't know much about this area at all. This would be something from your past.
Okay.
That you would recognize from your origins.
Okay.
So if you want to dive into it, there you can provide some context to it.
Sure.
And Scott, what was the history check there?
3. It was an 18. I rolled on a 19. I was like, this could be amazing, and then it landed on a 3.
No insectoid memories of your kind. Decrane, if you want to I can at least explain openly to the crew, and you can elect how much you share. I'll try to be as vague as possible. In your past, there is a race known as the Thrycreen. They are an insectoid race of people, 6-armed, kind of almost like ant-ish. I'm sure there's a better descriptor for them. I can pull it up. Yeah, they like hardened carapace, 6 arms, classic buggy eyes and antennas. They're known as the Vendetters, and would have been the ones to have chased you out of home and been your last encounter before you came to everyone here. Sent by who you would expect them to be sent by, and they are not they're not a kind people. Very classically, bounty hunters and assassins, and where you come from, they are employed as such. They don't need to sleep. They don't need to rest. They are always alert. They're always hunting. Very alien in their approach to the world, and they can communicate with one another wordlessly. That's your initial, like when Andy describes like an inside type creature, that would be your immediate like response go to, especially given your last encounters with them. So I can give you more information if you want to share.
No, that
we can also mute. Like we can turn off our sound.
That's
how much Kev wants to share.
I think actually that's good. So I would say this insectoid that you talk about, I have encountered these creatures before. They're called the Thrycreen. Like, did I get that right? Thrycreen?
Yeah, nailed it.
They usually have 6 arms and legs, and they are known as bounty hunters. They are dangerous. They can communicate without words. They never sleep. And if we see one, we need to be ready to fight.
That sounds terrifying. Sounds like a monster story, like a fairy tale.
I have had many run-ins with them. They are partially why I am here. And if I ever see one again, I will cut its head off.
Okay. I'm assuming, Kyle, I haven't heard of any of these things. No. I've met just about every kind of person that lives at least around where we are. Not now, I guess. Every kind of person, up above. Never heard of anything like that.
They're not local to this area, let's just say that.
Okay. I mean, we'll take a lead from you if you see anything. I couldn't tell by the vision. Sometimes it's stuff that happened a long time ago, and sometimes it's stuff that hasn't happened yet, and sometimes it's not real at all. So it's really hard to say.
You could be a target, or you could be a vassal to a target.
Okay.
Target?
It could be for you, yes, Gus.
Oh my god.
I could be the target. You could be the target.
Okay, wait. No.
Enid could be the target.
If it's Enid, I'll cut them.
I like that attitude.
Yeah.
Of course, if we can capture one, maybe we could use it to fly to the dragon.
Can they fly?
Yeah, I'm assuming because they're insectoid, maybe they can.
You would have experienced them being able to fly given the aid of other technology and things, but not simply by natural capabilities.
So I rephrase that, or I rewind that to say, sure, we do have the tech to fly.
Andy,
they're not just the grasshoppers from Bug's Life.
Yes,
because that's what I was imagining.
Given the 25 you rolled, The creature that you saw burned into your mind, given the 25 intelligence save. You can hold all these images that Leah can't, because you can't imagine it, but I can.
Fantasia, baby.
The white armor.
That's not a burn.
Insect. So she's my wife. I can say what I want. The white armored insectoid creature that you're thinking of, that you saw in this vision. The cape that you saw was not a cape. The longer you talk and the more insectoid and like discussion you get, folded wings.
Okay, so the more I think about it, it did have like wings, like insectoid looking wings.
Good follow-up cue.
Or like
angel wings. Not angel wings, not angel wings.
Okay.
I was like, cool.
It looked like a patterned cape. But the more you think about it and the more you talk about the structure of these creatures and like envisioning what Crane is talking about versus what you're talking about, it is like a folded pair of wings. But they're like flexible, so not a rigid structure, grasshopper or something like that. A flexible, but you can now remember it wasn't coming from like around the neck, it was coming from the shoulder joint. You could remember seeing the joint, and you could see how the two wings slipped over one another, disturbing the pattern of what you thought was cape actually was two wings. So could in theory be the same, but could be different.
Okay.
What
Maybe it's not the same thing. Maybe it's from a really long time ago.
Do you remember the expression on its face? Like, did it look worried, or did it...
They got a helm.
Oh, did he have a cool helm?
Couldn't quite see, even with the 25, couldn't quite make out face. You couldn't tell if like the helm was obscuring. The vision elements don't give you good detail of faces.
If bug faces just have different expressions, and I don't know what they mean.
The helm could be the face, but yeah, how expressionless.
I don't know this because I don't think you've revealed this yet. But at the very end, when you saw a version of you, did you see Did you see who the other one was? Or we haven't gotten that reveal yet?
Who the other versions were?
You said they were both me.
Oh, they were both you.
There were multiple at the very, very last vision, there were multiple different people. And then
remember,
they were going in and out of each other.
Yeah, it was all just like this shifting, morphing, like single creature, 4 creatures, 1 creature, 2 creatures, all just like shifting, like very fluid before instantly kind of teleporting in front of you, solidly an image, of mirror of you, but white skin cracked with black kind of bleeding veins and ichor running through this like cracked porcelain face.
And is that a different version of the one you had where there was like 2 people standing watching you?
She couldn't make out any further detail of that one, but it was the same setting.
Okay.
There's just like an outline of people, like, you know,
it was
blinded by other lights and things like that.
Yeah, you couldn't focus enough, but the end of that vision was they turned to look at you, and then it was over.
I would say at some point, I won't do it now, but we'll say like the next like long rest we do, she'll make a point to, except for that very last part because it's scary and she doesn't want to talk about it. She'll give all the details as best she remembers, just so everyone knows the little pieces, because everyone's heard it in game anyway, and then we don't have to pretend of what everyone did and did not hear.
I had just edited that scene, so it's just so fresh in my mind to think about. Interesting.
Okay, so unless there's any more you guys want to talk about, that is unfortunately one fail of your skill challenge.
Oh no!
Damn.
What a great fail, though. That was really fun. I thought that was a great success.
Hey, you guys got some cool magic out of it.
You got some cool stuff out of it, but you did not actually get closer to your goal.
Okay, I did one. You guys come up with something fun.
My thought was, we know that Clandestryx is like very magic-y, and you said when I had detect magic up before all the landscape seemed kind of magical. So I was trying to think if there's like some kind of Arcana check. I'd imagine that the magic would be more concentrated to like where we want to go, like where she lives. So some kind of like trying to find the trail of where the more of the magic is versus like a hot and cold situation.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
I can cast Detect Magic if that makes it easier.
I was going to say, if you'll indulge the casting of Detect Magic, I would give you advantage on it it would make better sense to be able to suss out that level. And you can ritually cast it. You can take the 10 minutes if you wish, or you can straight up cast it.
I probably would, because last time I almost ran out of spells when we got attacked by snow people. So I'd rather not burn the slot.
What I will say really quickly, as you have to stop openly to like sit for 10 minutes here. After this experience, everyone is slowed. And you guys have had been basically standing still and having this conversation for a while. I'd like everyone to roll a Constitution saving throw with advantage, especially given that you spent about now 20 minutes now by the time this casting will be done, kind of openly in the cold.
I'll keep hot water bottling people's
You're all
stuff.
having advantage for the hot water bottles and for the winter gear you bear, but con saves across the board for everyone, please.
14.
16.
15 for Enid.
Nice.
Rolled 11 plus 3, 14.
Okay. Cold, but not so cold that you are worried about any kind of threat and any danger.
Okay.
You complete the cast of Detect Magic. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check with advantage.
So that's a 22.
Yeah, 22 is a definite success. As you enter into this new vision, one, you can see it's hard to look at your friends who are covered in illusory magic and transmutative, I believe, with blink. But as you kind of step away from them, in your immediate vicinity, you can see like there are 3 crystal prisms. Each of them hums with energy, magical signature energy. The aurora above is now like brilliantly bright, as it also hums with magical energy. Every bit of snow here also just as a bare, faint, magically created element. However, using this, just like trying to almost close your eyes and just feel the flow of magic through here, trying to drop into the spectrum itself, the wavelength that magic runs through. And in this incredibly magical place, there is a different sense, feeling. Like you can feel there is a unexplored element of magic, unexplored to you. It's unidentifiable, even under Detect Magic, in this direction. And you begin to kind of follow, feeling for this tug of new, weird energy that is magic, but not. And slowly but surely, until Detect Magic fades, you follow that thread, everyone following in a trail. I should ask, are you continuing stealthily, or have you dropped stealth for the time?
I think just normal for now. We gotta make up time because we kind of fucked it up.
And it does Detect Magic last 10 minutes, an hour?
It's only 10 minutes. I think it's only 10 minutes. Let me double check. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, you begin to follow for 10 minutes, and then just with the faint remnants for the next 20 minutes after that, just following this thread. And collectively, you've now found like you're getting closer to beneath the crystal towers above. You're not quite there yet. And this magic is on this level. It's down here. So there's something still ahead that you have to look and find. But that is a success along the path before you lose that thread. And someone else can attempt another check.
Come on, Crane. Give me something good. First, decide what you want to do before you roll anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't matter because I rolled a 4.
Well, what were you trying?
You gotta pick what you roll before you roll.
Shoot the ground. I shoot the ground. Where are you, dragon? Bang, bang.
Trying to intimidate the dragon to show herself.
Come here, goddamn.
Please don't do that.
No, but could I look for clues?
Let's go on.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, just a straight investigation check.
Yeah. Nice.
What would the total have been with the 4?
Yeah, 4. It would have been 4.
Excellent. DeCrane takes the lead as you guys begin to follow, and just using just like raw intuition, trying to look and find things. You have a vague like direction from the tower, like descending from the cavern, but like where that could lead to, it's hard to like pinpoint at the level and distance. Unfortunately, your detective skills come up a little short, and especially so because as the further and further you get in here, you guys begin to trudge deeper into a section of deeper snow, and it begins to kind of come up thigh high for the 2 tall ones, and that's quite high for the 2 Harengon. It is up to your shoulders, I would believe, at least. So like you're really, you have to fall behind the 2 taller ones to at least go into their trails. But to Crane at the point, the snow and wind and the looking ahead, everything begins to, it's getting harder to move. The wind is growing more fierce, stinging ice, frigid cold. The temperature seems to drop, and the snow and wind and the fierceness of the gale has picked up into a full-on blizzard. You have found yourselves, unfortunately, caught now in a blizzard.
The green.
Okay, are you sure is this the right way?
I'm pretty sure it is, but I can't confirm anything now because of this blizzard. We gotta find shelter.
Yeah,
It is difficult to even hear DeCrane over the howling, whistling of the gale with his low voice.
I'll just
should have taken message.
Find shelter or we power through.
Ears just blowing behind me in the wind.
All my layers. Trying to keep my hat on.
Our sweet
cold,
girl.
right?
Huh?
I'm asking Kyle. I shouldn't feel that cold.
In this magical blizzard, you do.
Oh yeah, I guess.
He knows how to make an igloo.
Within the first minute here, as this sets in and you're having this conversation, you endeavor to make a Constitution saving throw with advantage, still with your wintry gear, even against the magical blizzard. Still.
What was bad?
Constitution saving throw with advantage.
11?
Oh. I rolled an 18 plus 3.
Hey. Very
17.
good. As a 16 plus 2 for Enid is an 18. Success on her side. Andy, that's going to be a fail.
No.
You take 4 points of cold damage. So what are you guys doing?
Can Nettie spring into action here as a ranger and try and find us some shelter to like avert this?
Sure. Enid will begin kind of just searching for the nearest point of shelter. With a 10 survival, she spends the next minute just trying her best, but like she has to like carve her like tunnel in the snow to try and like get anywhere, and it's just, you're just watching her kind of disappear, just her ears barely popping up above, before she has to kind of return to the crew, having not found anything as of yet. And I need another Constitution saving throw around the board for another minute past under this intense blizzard.
Can I cast Bless before this happens?
Sure.
I'll bless Nettie. Not me. I'll do everyone but me. So add a D4 to your roll here.
23.
Success.
Or sorry, 22, not 20.
Dirty 20 for me.
Enid's good. I roll way better than Allie.
You're killing it. DeCrane, what did you get? With advantage, and you can add a D4 if you need it.
15.
15 is going to pass with a D4 plus your bonuses. Like, you're fine. Yeah, just as the minutes pass, the cold is not abating. So trying to find somewhere quickly is going to be incredibly important.
Augustus, you got like fire stuff? Is there anything you can do to like keep us a little bit warm or like melt a little?
We need to build a wind barrier. If we can build something out of the snow to block the wind, then we can build maybe a fire.
I was like frantically looking through all my stuff.
I can warm 1 cubic foot of. Wait, it might be non-magical. This is magic snow. It's not going to work. Oh, it just says non-living material. That could slightly warm up a cubic foot of snow at a time over 6 seconds each time to like soften or melt it into something. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, why don't we
It'll
just
take time. It'll take time.
I know. I'm just saying to help. It's not going to like solve the problem, but if someone else does something else.
It's up to how you guys want to try and tackle this. That's a part of it.
Nothing useful.
I know, the spells I took are not great for this. Okay, I don't want to waste that. Oh, it's a first. Great, I'll waste it. Can I go up to like the biggest snow I can find? Snow, like I want to jump in a huge mound of snow.
Sure.
Trying to find the biggest thing. I'll use my bonus action like rabbit hop if I have to, jump into it. And then when I sink into it, I'm going to cast Thunderwave to like boom, like to carve out like a little like spot for us to hide.
Sure. Yeah, easy enough. You do indeed like rabbit hop up, feel yourself buffeted by the wind, but still carried down. You land, kick out Thunderwave. Just a cascade of snow, which is then picked up by the wind and blown past over you. For at least the time, you will have a short time. You'll have a little drift to kind of begin to work within, but it is quickly going to be blown over if you don't do something to make it sturdy and make it solid.
Yeah, can Nettie and I start building it up? Just like starting to build up?
Yeah, first thing, I need everyone to make a straight Constitution saving throw. As your
Not advantage, just straight?
As it begins to work its way under your protections.
Well, I got a 1.
Ooh.
Do I get an advantage though?
No advantage on this one specifically.
I got an 11 again.
Is Bless... You're still
Let's last a
minute.
minute. So everyone would get it but me.
It would last at least for this one here. Oh, wait, if it lasts for a minute, no, it wouldn't. Sorry. Because that would have been a minute. It would have been on the last roll, and a minute has now passed. So Enid rolled only a 14. Actually, 14 succeeds, so she's fine. DeCrane obviously fail.
5.
Fail.
7,
and
but fail,
Andy?
yeah.
11.
Also fail. Each of you take 2 points of cold damage.
Oh no.
What are you guys going to do to try and help build this up? If you're just trying to physically like pack the snow, I'll ask for an athletics check from whoever is going to try and just physically pack it. Eden has no other kind of course, so she's just going to go for athletics, just try and start packing the snow.
Could I use prestidigitation to like, because it's probably super fucking cold, so it's not packing snow type snow, but could I use prestidigitation to like slowly like to warm sections so that it becomes more 0 temperature packing snow?
Yeah, you can do so, but I need you to make an Arcana check. Each time you cast prestidigitation will require your Arcana to be able to fight over the cold of the magic of this blizzard. Prestidigitation only being a cantrip.
Yeah.
So an Arcana check will like begin this first like minute of like trying to cover here. As
I'm thinking like I'll pair up with somebody so that like I'm doing it and someone can pack it right away.
You
like,
and Enid.
Yeah.
Enid rolls a 22 for athletics to just begin to very quickly just pat things down as you go ahead here. But it's going to be kind of dependent on your Arcana roll.
18.
Okay. You guys begin to get like that first layer solidly down. DeCrane, what are you thinking?
I was like, I have an idea though. It might be quicker. Gus, can you tunnel through the snow? it might be quicker. If you can make a tunnel, we may be able to widen it a bit, and then we can huddle in there until the storm passes.
I take out my paws and they glow with a little solar light, and I start trying to tunnel using my primal savagery cantrip.
You got it, I'll try.
And then as he does that, we'll work to like make it a bit bigger if we need to.
As these two begin, Andy and Enid begin to kind of like carve out what will be the top of this. You begin to try and carve down in without a proper like burrowing speed, but aided by your magic. I'm still going to ask for in your case, a wisdom check, just straight sure. D20 plus your wisdom modifier. As you just using your spell casting, try and does your Arcana push past the magic of this realm?
30-20.
Yeah, you begin to pull away. It's going to take a lot of time for anything to really get carved away here. So another minute passes. Everyone needs to make another Constitution saving throw.
Oof.
Okay, first failure for Enid.
17 for
success.
Oh, 4. So probably didn't.
30-20.
Okay, that's not going to do it for Decrane. Decrane and Enid are going to suffer 2 points of cold damage. Decrane and Andy, you guys are feeling the numbing effects of potential frostbite on the cusp coming your way. A little further exposure here could lead to frostbite.
Seeing how dire this is getting and how slow this is going, I'm going to tell people to stand back, and I'm going to use Burning Hands to try and speed this up.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and use Burning Hands to like down into your tunnel. You cast the spell. Instantly, it like melts away and then begins to create an icy cave where it instantly like refreezes over top of. Throw me a d20 just straight up.
Sure. 12.
Okay. Kind of middle of the road. You feel there's it's a what's Burning Hands? The 15-foot cone?
Just a first. Oh, and yeah, it's a cone. Yeah.
15-foot cone?
Yep.
That would it'd be a tight squeeze for everyone to get into this space, but it is a space out of the cold.
I can cast like produce flame to try and get like a fire going on the ground here, or I can like still just keep trying to dig for more.
It's you've created now a space. It's just as everyone hunkering down in here, it will just be a tight squeeze to wait out whatever's happening above.
Oh.
Because we also, if we are close, there's heat.
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for the that leads.
I know. I don't know what's happening before I continue.
Forgot a thing that I made a decision about for my character.
She dies in the cold.
She's vulnerable to cold damage.
If it drops below 0, she's dead.
No, but she's claustrophobic.
Here, get in this small hole.
Beneath, potentially caving in.
Yeah. And she's also very big. I think she'd try to go in and have to bail immediately. Or like, for maybe it would be fine for like a minute, and then just the panic sets in. And either has to try to make it bigger. Okay, 1 second.
Is there any way, Kyle, like Nettie could use Entangle to just try and make like another berm in front of ours, like have vines burst up to like attract the snow?
Yeah, I'd be down with being able to do it, but it's only going to last a minute.
Oh shit, true. Well, maybe it builds up and then the snow stays there.
It's up to you guys. She just doesn't have that many spell slots.
Then we'll save him if she shows up. I don't want to burn all our spells.
All my spells do psychic damage.
What I'll say is, even as you get inside collectively, it's still cold. So those of you who are in and able to kind of use Produce Flame to kind of help, you gain an advantage on Constitution. If, Andy, you are withdrawing, you need a straight Constitution save across the board. So con save regardless from everyone, but if Andy is withdrawing, which I believe is likely. Straight roll for you.
13 for me.
14 plus 3, 17.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Enid.
The dice honor your commitment to your character.
What is that? A 6.
You did it, Kyle. You said you came in hot. You said I'm rolling hotter than Nettie. It's turn.
And she suffers as well. Everyone is getting a little closer to some frostbite. Those of you who are in the ice cave that you've created, you protected from the blowing wind and snow, will no longer need to continue, especially given the fact that Augustus can create flame and you guys will be close. You will be safe from the risks of frostbite. However, outside, Andy, what are you doing?
I'm going through all of my spells and trying to figure out what the fuck I should be doing.
For every minute that you stay outside, it will constitute a save.
I have an idea. Can Nettie cast Charm Person on Andy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just try and
Does she,
lull her in.
Are you going to be resistant to that?
I don't know how that would...
I envision Allie's aloofness and silliness being like,
You know, come on in here. It's not too bad. Let me tell you about the time I bashed Augie in the face with a bunch of acorns when there was a blizzard.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know that I'd fail on purpose because she's like really doesn't want to go in there. But
Go ahead and make a wisdom save.
roll off. Yeah, get a roll off.
a wisdom save?
Yeah, wisdom save DC 13.
That's my wisdom save. I rolled an 11 in my wisdom save, though I have proficiency in it. Is only a +1 because my wisdom is negative.
Amazing.
I rolled a 12.
Oof.
I'm going to cast this. You are indeed charmed, and that overcomes that initial fear. You are just warmed by friendship and lulled in and kind of lured into this cavernous space, and for the next hour are charmed, and it does take that long for the blizzard to blow over. And for that hour you are happily, bubbly, chilling, and very good friends with Enid.
She's got a lot of stories.
Collectively, you all manage to avoid the risks of frostbite, and come out of this, Andy, bursting out of the ice and snow after the blizzard above has abated and the spell wears off. Unfortunately, seemingly no further than you were before.
Oh my god. Can't get any closer to this thing. Shake snow from my ears.
That is 1 success, 2 fails so far.
God, this is not our day.
So I have a new idea that I could try.
Mm-hmm.
We're going all the way back to, we're circling back to me. Have you had a chance to do something, Andy? Yeah, you did the Arcana, right? You tried something?
Yep.
So I can cast Skywrite.
Mm.
I can cause 10 words
You
to
took
form.
Skywrite? That's
Today I
crazy.
did. Yeah,
That's
today
crazy.
I did.
That's
Yeah.
Every time I look over the spells, I was like, oh, look, the lamest spell in the game.
There's a castle in the sky above us.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is, what if I write something?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it doesn't appear backwards to them if they can see it. But something to the effect of, let me read it. You cause up to 10 words to form in a part of the sky you can see. The words appear to be made of cloud and remain in place for the spell's duration. Words dissipate when the spell ends. Ooh, a strong word can disperse the clouds and end the spell early. So good to do it after a blizzard goes by.
Okay. What do you write?
But I could say, so up to 10 words. Let me literally do a word counter.
Kyle's face is saying,
It's a good use of the spell.
it is
It's
a
just-
cool spell.
It's just an awful spell.
The only time I've seen it used is like when Keyleth did it once, and like that
One
like,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
to
that's
put
fine.
up the Derolo crest.
I would say something like Clandestryx, Ludomir, and the Alliance. Like I want to say,
Infinite Alliance symbol.
ooh, do we have a cool alliance symbol? That infinity symbol? That could be fun.
Yeah, there's an infinite alliance. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a crossed swords with the infinite kind of crossed figure eight.
Fan art. Whenever you're watching this at Hexplorers D&D, send it.
Do you just do the symbol, or are you doing a message?
No. I want to say something like Clandestryx, and I want to be like deferential. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's pretty good. Clandestryx, the Infinite Alliance seeks the honor of your audience.
Okay. You guys watch as Augustus begins to kind of just paint in his
I think,
hand.
like paint with Ray. Like Ray will just like follow it, and somehow it appears in the sky.
And yeah, rather than cloud necessarily, but the aurora is pulled in the direction of the words that are to you backwards as you're trying to project up.
Yeah, maybe I'll switch it.
East face the other way.
No, sorry.
The E's are bad.
The E's are 3s.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
You got it. Fuck me. Where are you, Valentine? 7.
No, I'll make it a goddamn 17.
Yay! As my E's are all backwards, it's looking very shoddy.
Okay, now let's try that one again.
The interesting thing is that is 2 successes, 2 fails on this skill challenge. However, a direct address, which I think is just interesting, I think is worthy of being rewarded, plus the use of multiple features there. You guys watch and just stand there looking up at this backwards declaration, hoping, and you hear a voice from behind you. It is kind of crackly, but crackling as in like the crackle of ice and the shifting of gem and crystal. And you hear, well, that's a curious use of that spell. Hello. You guys turn and look at one of these massive crystal pillars, and you can see a face is projected within, illusory within the crystal, kind of somewhat refracted. You can see this bright, massive, golden yellow eye pulls back, and you can see in a strip of crystal the side of this draconic face, a little bit of this draconic mouth, as this one eye and this head just kind of pulls and shifts, and you can see a long neck for part before refocusing and says, well, aren't you a funny little bunch?
Thank
Hello.
you. Hi. I'd never cast that spell before, so thanks.
I haven't seen anyone use that spell in quite literally centuries.
Thanks. It was my first time.
Well,
Hey, are you Clandestryx?
I am. And in fact, it is odd to have myself addressed to by my own magics. So, how peculiar. What brings you to my domain? And
Oh,
how did you come to wield one of my divining rods?
Get out of here.
oh, sorry if that was rude. I didn't mean to take over.
No,
your...
not rude at all. I thought it was
Okay.
fascinating. I've never had that happen to me before. New experiences and all.
Okay. Andy, do you want to explain why we have one of the rods?
Yeah, we are actually here to pick up its brother, from the Infinite Alliance stuff, and we were sent from above, and you're very interesting. I'm sorry, I'm a little
No, you're right. I am very interesting.
yeah.
Just runs out of steam.
Is Mr. Everhart not with you?
No, he sent us in his stead.
Interesting.
But we got things for you. He sent gifts or payment. I'm not entirely sure. That's one of them. I point to Augustus's staff.
Not me, this.
Yeah. No, not the whole Aragon.
That looks quite nice.
And there's a couple of boxes of stuff that we don't know what's inside.
Would love a surprise.
Yeah.
And not just Isaac, also Ludomir himself was the one who sent us.
Well, Ludomir, having shared his name, perhaps Mr. Nostrov has come to trust you just as fiercely as Mr. Everhart. Perhaps he's taken my warnings closer to heart. Interesting.
That sounds okay.
Well, you can tell a lot about someone by the things that they choose to share openly, and that which they keep close. You're quite open, in fact. And in truth, in the interest of openness, I have been watching you for some time. But I appreciate, nonetheless, the directness of your approach.
I mean, we got nothing to hide. I thought that this seemed like something.
Why would you?
Because I'm not sure. I thought there was like an alliance thing going on here, so I kind of thought, oh, great, we're on the same team. Why would we hide anything?
Very astute. However, far be it from me to judge the keen acumen of the Immortal Man, but I must make my own assertions of your character, of course.
Totally.
Anything interesting? I'm just curious. Like, what are your first thoughts so far?
Well, you are eclectic. You're quite fun to watch. As an impartial observer, if I was to be subscribing to some kind of channel where I could watch you, I would very happily do so.
I would probably subscribe.
Every Tuesday, new content.
What's a Tuesday? But more specifically, you are all touched by something I can't quite pinpoint from afar. And in truth, had you not come here under the volition of the Infinite Alliance and Mr. Nostrov, I surely would have scooped you up to ask myself. Very, very interesting choices. And having seen just a taste of what you've seen, Miss Andromeda, a conversation is much needed. However, to present tests, as it were, a interesting scenario has quite fortuitously presented itself. Just over this ridge, here, and you watch as crystal just bursts out of the ice and snow in front, to the left and right of this one, and you watch as images begin to play within them. On the left, you can see like a point of view perspective of something in the midst of a battle. On the right, you can see kind of like a third party watching over a battlefield. Ice and snow, crystal, a similar battle taking place to that which you placed yesterday. These crystal sentries battling against a number of combatants, clad in gray and black cloaks, green tinted armor pieces throughout. You see a number of elven, potentially, or you can see pointed ears at the very least, but difficult to gather anything further in the craziness of battle. The one who is point of view, you watch there, picked up by a giant hand before smashed into the ground by some larger-than-life figure. You can see it's kind of scattered amongst these other combatants, 4, 5, 6 of these very tiny, kind of orangey brown-skinned creatures, all wielding these long spiked clubs over their head as they run forward, just kind of clubbing and bashing into things, screeching, shattering one of these crystal sentries. As I was saying, just over this ridge of Just over this ridge beyond here is a platform of crystal and ice. You will no doubt be able to decipher its purpose and be able to activate it. But as it turns out, this group here is near an hour away from spoiling our little get-together, and I gather their intent is far more nefarious than yours. To that end, I would issue a challenge. Stop them from finding this platform ahead by any means necessary. If they are rebuked or dispatched, I will look most favorably upon you when we meet. If not, well, perhaps Ludomir's judgment has slipped in his old age. But I'm sure you're up to the task. I do look forward to hosting you soon. And don't worry, I'll be watching.
Who are they? Okay.
I really like her. She's fun.
She's fun. She's fun in an all-knowing, like, oh, you'll play things. That's interesting, kind of way, which is fascinating and a little scary. But I think she probably likes that.
It was funny when she said your name and you didn't know she knew your name, and I watched your face. It was funny.
That was good. Full name too. I don't use that one that much.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sure.
Crane, do you want to go try and murder those the little things with the clubs?
You're
It's
muted.
muted, or
I can hear you over the snow. Are
Someone
you
cast
muted?
silence on Crane.
We're gonna get to them first.
do we recognize what those weird little orange creatures are?
Go ahead and make a history nature check.
And maybe, did we get a feel of how many there were?
Yeah, it looked like there was probably 4 to 6 of the small ones, and about 3 or 4 of these kind of, humanoid elven figures, and
That'd be
one
a
that
tough fight.
seemed much larger.
Yeah, that could be bad.
I also want to point out that there was the reference to the crystal platform ahead, which is not the same place that these people are.
Oh.
They're
There it
on
is.
their way here an hour
Stop.
away.
Stopping them from getting to the platform.
Gotcha. So we have prep time. Okay.
Or even
I only rolled a 10 with my
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good history, so that's
They're small.
Yeah.
As best you can tell.
We
Yeah,
could try and set an ambush for them.
They seem like they are headed to this crystal platform place. You have about an hour of prep time if you wanted to try to do so.
Okay. Let me look at my spells.
Can we climb up to that platform now, just to get a feel for what that is?
Yeah, you could begin to kind of scale up over this next ridge, and you watch as you crest the ridge. It drops back down, and then there's like a curve to the right where almost like a volcano. Like there's a little bit of an open caldera, but it's all ice, crystal, and snow. In the middle, there's a slit that is open entry into this kind of interior of what is this like walled interior of a caldera. As you walk inside, it is tinkles with like crystal and ice, and as you walk in, it is this kind of odd, very Fey inspired kind of feeling. Everything, all the walls shimmer and shift as you walk past. You see your reflections refracted weirdly as you make your way into this odd space where this like tinkling sound catches your ears and is echoed around in this not quite domed, it is open at the top, but floating throughout the space you see dozens of these small crystalline balls that are just kind of gently bobbing with this faint kind of light within them. It's about 150 foot across, but 100 and 120 foot wide from left to right. And in the center of it, there are several different, points of crystal spires, and there are mountains of snow and small bits of ice and things. In the center, there's a ramp up to a platform of mounded ice and snow. At the top, you see a circular platform of crystal or ice. And at the furthest point on this platform, you can see there are 3 pedestals. at a distance, it's still a long ways away. But everything here is faintly lit by the glowing orbs that float about the space.
I just like to imagine Ray kind of dancing between those lights, enjoying like the lights like that.
Mm-hmm. And they do refract interestingly.
Clandestryx said something like we would recognize this or it'd be familiar.
I think she said that there was like we would figure it out like when it came to push came to shove. But I think for now, if I understand it correctly, we have to defend it first.
Okay.
And then try to figure out whatever this thing is and how to make it work, how to activate it. But first we have to make sure that nothing else gets here.
Do you remember when, what are those scary people, the mage hunter people are called?
Yeah, the Konikoth.
Remember when they were showing up to grill and I was able to like summon those like vines and roots to stop their horses? I think both Nettie and I could do that if we wanted to set a trap that they kind of wander into, and then we could spring it up on them and we could try and attack them. Or I mean, we could just talk to them. I could go out and be like, hey, misunderstanding, I think you guys should turn around.
As much as I'd like to not commit violence against people, we have no idea what it is that they are, what they're doing. I think we might need a backup plan, if that's the plan. I can at least set an alarm a little bit down the way if we can try to figure out what direction they're coming from. Is there kind of, Kyle, only one, is this bridge like Coliseum-esque where they could come a bunch of different ways? Or is there like one direction?
There's a single entry point. In theory, if they could like fly up and over, they could do that. But like, it would be very difficult to like climb up over the edge. You'd be climbing over like pointed crystal.
Okay. What I'll do then is I'll set up an alarm. What's the distance area that range is no larger than a 20-foot cube?
Mm-hmm.
So how wide is the entrance?
About 15, 20 feet.
Okay, great. I will put it
Across
in your mind if you're within 1 mile. Okay, I just have to be within a mile. Excellent. Just across the entrance is probably the best.
Easy enough.
Takes 11 minutes.
Do we want them to get this close?
The problem is there's no other place where we can guarantee that they're going to come from. Like, I wanted to kind of put it out a little bit farther, but it's like, in theory, if the entrance is here and we're like, sure, we'll put it here, but then they come this way, they're not going to cross it.
This is a good bottleneck, Kyle, kind of looks like, would you say?
Yeah.
In theory, if we have an hour, it depends on what we want. We could increase that bottleneck even further.
Yeah.
Like build it out so that they're even forced to come to bottleneck sooner. But that's like moving a lot of snow and shit, and I don't know how much time we have.
Well.
Yeah, this is cool. Hey, I'm glad we got that extra crystal board shit. Okay.
So you can see the entry is these kind of crystalline walls, and then the exterior of where the kind of map ends will become the caldera walls, as it were. But there are multiple points of, height advantage, and there is a funnel kind of choke point. Now it's still like a 20-foot space, give or take. So it's not single file necessarily, but it does give you a clear line of sight to kind of work within. You've got lots of ice, crystal, and snow to kind of build and play with over the next hour of trying to do things with. You've got positions that you can kind of hold and take. You got some options, but at least you can see this is what the setup will be. Andy, it'll take you 11 minutes to set the alarm. And then what else are we thinking about?
I can do, one of us could do entangle, and entangle goes like when they show up, just thinking down the road.
Mm-hmm.
What's your range on that?
I think it was decent. Let me just pull it up.
Andy, what's your spell DC?
It is I should know this, but it did just increase.
90 feet.
14.
So 90 feet, basically, like the full length of the paper is from the entry to the back of the map is 140. So to the you've got quite a bit of play for 90 feet.
Yeah. We could try and set actually, Kyle, clarification. The walls beside it, is that something like one of us could scale to shoot down? Like, could we position a DC or an Enid above the chokehold?
It'd be difficult. Their footing would be really difficult. It's both ice and crystal. Like, the whole point, it's built so that you can't really get up and over the tops of the mounds.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have the prep time to try and carve yourself out a kind of a crow's nest or a sniper's nest. So in theory, you could try to do that with your check here, but it's a medium to hard DC to DC? Do that. But not saying no, just saying it's going to take a bit of work.
I have another
rough frame of reference. About this point here is 90 feet to the entry. So anything from basically here down would give you 90 feet of view to the entry for spell purposes.
Can you, sorry, Kyle, above the kind of hallway, what's on the ceiling? Or is it low ceiling? Is it super high? Is there anything above it?
The entry,
yes,
this point here.
Yes.
It's open. Open sky.
Fully open. And how high is, are we in a cavern? Is that what you kind of said? Or it's just open to the sky?
Picture this is the interior of a volcano, but there's a slit open where the walls entry are. So it's an open circular top. The walls are crystal ice, and kind of domed, but there is a slit out of the cake of the volcano that is that ice right there.
Okay.
And it's just open up to the full height, which is still the walls are only about 20-30 feet. It's not massive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's enough for the ability to fly. It would be difficult.
We have those spores, right?
Yeah, you have 4 myconid spore clusters each, or each of you has 1.
What did those do again? If you remember it offhand.
They burst in a cloud. You can throw it up to 20 feet, and they'll burst into a 10-foot radius of poisonous smoke that is also heavily obscured.
DeCrane, if people come down here, where would you want to be? We can't let them get to imagine up the ramp.
I'm thinking if we use the spores in the chaos that creates, I could shoot.
Oh yeah.
You take a couple down and it will cause even more panic. And once it causes panic, there's no plan from them. And that's when we can take them down.
What's your stealth like?
Pretty good.
Because one of an Enid we could try and position Enid, who's used to climbing trees, up on the ledge of one of these things to shoot down, and she could be the one to throw her spore grenade down. I could try and entangle them to trap them in there. You could be positioned somewhere where you have line of sight down this path, if it's on the ramp or something. We could take some time to try and build up a cover for you, like a snow cover, almost that you could peek out behind and shoot. And then we could just try and rain in on them.
Once they're entangled, I'll just take them out one at a time.
I believe Entangle would give you advantage on each attack.
The one downside is the spores obscure the area. So we do both, then we're not going to be able to see. So, but
actually, we wouldn't even be able to shoot them if it's heavily obscured. If it's lightly obscured, you have disadvantage.
But if they're tangled in one spot, wouldn't you know they're there?
Yes, but my thought is potentially. Oh no! See, then they'd get suspicious. I would spore them first, and then they move forward into a new space and tangle.
We could entangle. Nettie shoots down. DeCrane shoots down. If it starts to go bad for Nettie, she could spore grenade and then try to make her escape. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a better chance. Is use those as a. But I mean, it'd be nice to.
We should focus fire on the. It's tough to say. Do we focus fire on the big guy or take out the little dudes first? But there was a...
If there's enough little dudes, I have at least one spell that can fuck with them a little bit, but it's a cone, so they have to get kind of close to me, and they like ideally all at once. I'm guessing they have less hit points. Like it's what is it called? Color spray.
Mm-hmm.
So it blinds
Be
them.
close for that though.
Yeah, it's a 15-foot cone.
What if we just keep you there? See that like middle square, and you just stand there like you're at Thermopylae. You're Gerard Butler in 300.
My thought is like, I think at least one of us, if not two of us, should stand at the base of this like ramp thing. You need some kind of line. We can't all be distance. I have a bunch of things that I can do. It's gonna just depend on situation. I don't know if any of them need specific prep.
We could really hurt these guys. Like, so if Nettie casts... Sorry, you keep going, Leah.
That's it.
If Nettie uses her entangle, because it's concentration, that would free me up to use Moonbeam, which is also concentration, but I could literally shine a light. It's a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder of pain, basically. It does range 120 feet. Where's the 2d10 radiant damage, or half as much on a success? And I could literally just like move that around a bit.
Can I make a suggestion? See
Hell
if
yeah.
there's a big ass crystal to like, if you were to walk in to the right,
Mm-hmm.
would it be reasonable to try to like knock that shit over so that it makes an even narrower entrance?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It'll take time.
Yeah.
Time.
Like someone like Brain, I don't know if you have anything like, and after I'm done my alarm, I don't know if I'm going to be much help in terms of other prep, but like things like that, like trying to make the space smaller and more difficult for them is going to be.
We could create an ice barrier.
Yeah, or crystal, like whatever we can get.
I mean, Enid can get working on like just chopping away at the crystal to like knock it down. 'Cause it's like imagine just cutting down a tree. She's just gonna keep slicing away at the one side, just trying to break the base.
Mm-hmm.
Could I try and use my survival skills to make a path up for Nettie? To like have a perch up there?
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Just simply because it's ice and snow and crystal, so like climbing is really hard. So first thing I need from you is a straight athletics check.
You got it. 9.
You just like trying to find your first couple of footings, and like you just slip and fall and like kind of sprain your ankle a little bit. Ow. It's tough to get up into this spot.
What to do?
I'm gonna say about half an hour has passed as like planning and talking. Alarm. Enid is able to drop that crystal to block that right side.
Could Decrane in this time, could you build up a little barricade of snow or rock on that ramp to kind of hide behind?
So you want to be on here, Decrane?
Mm-hmm.
On here somewhere?
Yeah.
Just so you have a clear shot into them, but you could hide behind some cover or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Just
Perfect.
give you that. So then Decrane, position yourself behind there.
Hell yeah, I love this.
That gives you a clear line of sight straight down the barrel. And would also give you half cover in terms of ranged stuff.
I wonder if I'm on the other side, maybe a little off the ramp. Could still kind of see into it.
Like over here?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. You would have, obviously, like now there's this crystal kind of blocking some of the path. So depending on what it is you're trying to do, you don't necessarily have line of sight to like this area here.
And I have another question, Kyle, while as we're deciding where to go. Can you remind me what weapons we saw them have? The little guys had little like
little clubs.
You saw they had clubs. You couldn't quite clearly see what the giant creature had, but the others looked like they had blades of some kind.
Okay, wasn't sure how many people had range because that might change things as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could pop off my spell when Nettie pops off her spell. Could Nettie try and climb that thing again? And if she can't, she could just go on that like little cliffside to the left there?
She can try and climb, yeah.
Let's have her try and get up there.
She is going to try and climb left or right side?
Eve's dealer's choice. Yeah, left. Let's do it.
Go up the left side. Athletics. It's a 20.
Great.
So she's able to climb up over the next couple of minutes. I'm going to get a survival check to see how well she can kind of position herself. And that's a 21.
Oh, amazing.
So she's got to, she kind of breaks away some of the areas of crystal and clears out a little kind of sniper spot to kind of position herself basically right up on the ridge. But slightly further back. I wonder if you can balance that like that.
So then Nettie could do entangle if things get really scary, drop a shroom bomb, and she could even misty step away just to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good.
Where do you think you should go, Andy?
I don't know. I need to just be somewhere where I can see clear down the line for any of my shit to work.
You could chill with DeCrane up there if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, yeah. Maybe that's the best spot. I also, Kyle, can I, in time, collect a handful of roughly 5-pound crystals for shot put ability?
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, you want multiple 5-pound crystals?
I'll just we have time. I'll make a little pile behind where we are in case I want to catapult shit.
Yeah, just roll. I mean, how much time do you want to devote to it? Like, you've still got a half hour. Do you want to spend the next half hour doing this?
No. If I only get one, that's fine. Maybe 15 minutes, half that time.
Okay, roll a d4.
2.
You got 2?
Duh.
You got 2, and you and DeCrane can post up behind this kind of mound of snow. At range, it'll give you both half cover, and obviously you'll position yourselves able to hide behind and pop back up as you see fit.
Kyle, earlier in the game, I rolled a 1 on a d6 to get staff charges back in the healing staff. So it currently, I think it's down 2.
Yeah. I think you might only be down 1 actually, but actually you add to that as well. It might be cool.
Yeah, it was 1 and then plus 4 charges. So I've burnt 2 from the staff overall use of it.
Kyle, can you please confirm from where I am how far 30 feet towards the camera is? It's just hard to tell with the angle.
30.
Okay, thank you. And then roughly in each direction. Okay. The thing I'm saying on hard ice, packed snow, crystal.
Seems to be a bit of the base is ice, but there are veins of hard and packed snow, so it's not particularly slippery as of now. But you imagine it could become that if there's any significant melting or other various elements.
Okay.
We also have 2 vials of acid. That could be something you could catapult.
Yes.
That would be awful. That would be so bad. You would not do that. You would not catapult acid in somebody's face.
Yeah, catapult a vial of acid, that'd be sick.
You gotta catapult a sword through somebody, or
I had trauma about that, okay? She didn't enjoy that. There's something different about blunt force trauma. And
you've collected a bunch of crystals to stab through them.
Yeah. Catapult into their faces.
Give into it. The violence.
I might say
specifically filed them to points.
DeCrane, you have good decks, right?
Can I work team recovery? Is that reasonable?
Yeah. Actually, no.
No, it's not short rest.
You didn't take a short rest.
Yeah, it's good.
You could start to try and take a short rest and see if they get here. She said about an hour. So, the 15 minutes of collecting fucking crystal is
weapons
hard work, but the casting would have been and planning and stuff like that. So you'd have a half hour before the hour is up. So you could start a short rest, but you would take yourself out of any further action here and see if you can pull it off.
How far down? Hey, here we go. Scott, How many charges on that staff do you have?
8.
How down on hit points is anybody? I feel like hit points is going to be important generally.
Good
In this fight.
And it is down 6.
I'm also down 6.
Okay, let's heal you guys up. Great call. Okay, let's spurn 1 for Neddy. Let me just pull it up. Cure wounds. 1d8 plus. Oh, it's 5 now for me, right?
So
you're
6.
you're just healed up, and then you're healed up to Neddy. Kev, why don't we heal you too?
Yeah, I could use a bit.
Do you need more than 6?
No,
You got 6 back.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I only need 4.
You got 4 back.
Yeah, let's just make sure we're full up going into this.
Yeah,
I'm only down 2 health. What do you guys think? Should I do it?
it could be the.
I would
difference
say
between-
it could be, but it could also be a waste of a spell when you could get more health after you like are down slightly. I don't know. It's up to you. How many charges do you have? Because you didn't get them all back.
5 left now. I'll save it. I'll save just 2. I'll make one of you come save me.
That's fine. I can do that one time. I can save somebody. One.
When I charge in.
Uh,
Let's give you, Kev, if you got good dex, and I know you love acid from campaign 1, why don't we give you 1 vial of acid?
I'm ready to launch it.
right.
And Andy, if you don't want one, we could give one to Nettie too. I'm sure she would
No,
love
right.
acid.
I don't want it.
I will add it
No.
to your
What?
inventory now.
What I'll do is I will toss it in the air, and then I will hit an arrow at it, and it'll explode over everyone.
I'm into it.
It's 2 actions.
Acid, Enid,
You only got 1 attack right now, man.
1 acid.
Fire up and shitter.
Action surge, waste it.
It counts all as one move.
They each get 2 points of acid damage because it's just little drops.
I mean, to throw the acid vial does you as an action. You can throw it up to 20 feet. It shatters, and then it deals damage to anyone within 5 feet of who you hit.
Okay.
So
But if I shoot it,
dangling, like
But if I shoot it,
if you shoot it,
If you
it
shoot
could go-
it, it'll splatter the walls instead.
if you were to burn your action surge on it, I'd give it to you.
oh yeah,
If you don't roll a 1.
yes.
It's a DC 10, but yeah,
how many spore bombies did we get?
We just got 1.
everyone's got 1.
Everyone's got 1? Okay, so I'll give mine to Nettie, so she'll have 2.
Kyle, something that I'm going to do is when my alarm goes off, I'm going to cast Mirror Image on myself. Is that still up for everybody else? Or no? Was that gone?
No, it's been more than an hour.
And the break and stuff?
It was
Oh.
very sad when it ended for August.
All the effects have faded, unfortunately.
No, drops to his knees. Yeah, when your alarm goes off, if you want to do like a quiet bird whistle or something, I think I would activate Ray when that happens because it costs an action.
You can't do it ahead of time? She only lasts for so long or something like that?
She lasts for an hour, so I'd rather wait for a good moment.
I mean, you can just like, you'll see me cast Mirror Image. It's like a
Yeah,
bunch.
as soon as I see you do something like that, I'll do it.
I don't want to make noise and give her,
Give us away.
yeah.
So you put hold on, just real quick. When the alarm goes, yeah, that's fair. I'm trying. Basically, I was trying to math out like the action economy of like if you instantly cast stuff, that's like essentially like you losing your held action ideas for the first round, but the length of time it'll take them to like walk in here would constitute like a new round, so it should be fine.
So I was hoping to put alarm like as far forward as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Provided that they don't see it before they come in.
Yeah, they could dispel it.
Could we also use just
They
for
could
double?
dispel.
We could use Toot Sweet.
Mm.
Toot Sweet has a flying speed of 60, so he could be up on the wall, and then rush back to Nettie. Look at that little guy.
Little toot sweet.
Oh yeah, and the alarm's not going to be audible. It's just going to be in my head.
Toot Sweet.
Okay. As you guys begin to settle in, you feel the time dwindling down. You hold your positions, feeling the time come to about right fruition as closer and closer. And you feel the tingle of your alarm spell trigger.
I'll cast Mirror Image.
I'll cast for Ray.
Ray. That light's behind you. Mirror image is non-concentration, so no changes there. And you guys watch. I'd like perception checks for everybody, please.
Thank God for advantage from the rod.
Nat 1.
Oh, 16.
7 and 5, 12.
21 for Enid, who sees everything flawlessly from her position. Augustus, unfortunately with the nat 1, I'm going to pull back on your reaction, like prep to cast round.
Wait.
Just as you can't, you don't get to jump and trigger on hold with everyone. So you'll unfortunately not get the like surprise round that will come out of this.
It's all good.
But you all watch, and really, I guess it's you can hear before you see the crunching of feet under snow underfoot. And the sound. There's a lot of like light little, and these kind of faint, kind of chittering sounds of these creatures as they make their way closer. I guess it's something in the way they're chittering does strike a chord deep in your mind as they make their way in. It does also give you a little bit of pause. Slowly, just a little, make their way forward, followed carefully behind by careful steps, armored individuals. One seems to Decrane and Andy and Enid's. Seems to kind of walk lower, hunched, a little swaying back and forth on kind of an odd gait. And then the heavy
Oh boy.
A two-headed giant-kin creature who's heavy thuds behind. They are not moving particularly slowly as you have set your ambush. We'll pick up there next time.
I'm all of a sudden pretty nervous about how this is going to go.
They're big.
Yeah.